What's up, vegan heroes? This is Max from the Vegan Hero Project, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about the 4 main reasons why I chose to go vegan. So when I tell people that I went vegan, which I really don't do very often because I don't really think there's any reason for them to know unless they ask, I really give 4 main answers, and here they are in order of highest to lowest importance, at least in my eyes. The highest importance reason why I went vegan, number 1, first and foremost, is because being vegan is a human rights move. It's a human rights choice or decision. I like the word decision because it comes from the Latin root of to cut off. Being vegan is a human rights decision. Why? Because there's 800 to 900, somewhere between 800 and 900 million people starving on our planet every single day. And the grain that we feed to our cows and to our to our pigs, to our chickens, to our lambs, to our ducks, the grain that we've been feeding to animals that we raise domestically could very easily feed all of those people. So that's number 1, is that choosing to eat vegan could feed all the starving people on our planet, and it would be better for our planet because the agriculture industry produces a massive amount of waste, a massive amount of carbon dioxide, a massive amount of methane, and essentially a massive amount of climate damage. Number 2, the second reason why I went vegan was because of course, the animal rights issues. You know, I've been hunting and I've been fishing and I've killed animals, I've wrung animals' necks, and I've actually gutted fish and all that, so I know what it's like to actually kill and to eat animals. And that's, that's a little bit of a violent experience, right? If you look at how animals die when we kill them hunting, compared to how they die in the farming industry, man, is that a difference. There's a big difference between shooting a bird as it flies through the air and it being dead within 30 seconds, and grabbing a chicken and cutting its throat and then gutting it alive, essentially, when it doesn't die how you thought it would. Or between shooting a pig in the head with a stun gun and then boiling it alive, and its skin comes off and it's still fully conscious. The reason why, my main move against that industry is because animals don't just get killed in that industry. We have this kind of illusion on our head that pigs and chicken and cow kind of live an ideal life, and then there comes a time when a farmer grabs them and kills them, and they were happy, and then 30 seconds happened and then they were dead. But in reality, their lives are pretty miserable the entire length of their life. And then when they get killed, oftentimes it's a really drawn out thing, right? It's essentially just torturous. So I don't really want to support that. That's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is actually fitness. I've always been a fitness nut. I know you can't really tell it like looking at me, especially in this baggy ass shirt, but I've always been a fitness nut. And I've been so skinny as 150 pounds at 6 feet tall, running marathons. And I've also been 240 pounds, being able to squat 450 pounds, deadlift 550 pounds. I've been a strong guy and I've been a runner. And I've always been into health, always. But going into veganism, I realized this is actually a huge health move. One of the previous presidents of the American College of Cardiology, Dr. Kim, I think I might have met this guy at one time at an event. But anyway, Dr. Kim has actually shown that vegans, on average, live 10 years longer than normal people, than meat eaters, than carnivores, than omnivores. Sorry about that. And I don't know about you, but looking at being able to live 10 years longer really excites me. The idea that I can live more than 10% longer is pretty thrilling, right? Because 10 years, I've only been alive 23 years. 10 years is a massive amount of time to have available. So I'm going to choose that. On that same idea of health, when I went vegan, I tried it once the first time. I tried it and I couldn't even make it a week. And the reason why that happened was because I always thought, but I'm going to lose all this muscle mass, I'm going to get weak, I can't get enough protein. And that was the story that I told myself as a guy. So if you're a guy watching this, you might empathize with that. But then I started to look around and I realized some of the strongest people in the world are vegan. There are vegan powerlifters, vegan bodybuilders, vegan strongmen, vegan marathon runners. Essentially, if you look at a sport, there are just as many vegans as you would expect based on the amount of vegans in the general population. So veganism and protein, that's a myth. This idea that you can't get enough protein, you can't be an athlete on a vegan diet, is bullshit. You absolutely can. And when I realized that for myself, it kind of took away the last barrier. And I said, shit, if I can be an athlete, and I can support human rights issues, and I can support animal rights issues, why wouldn't I? So I did. Alright, so that's number 3. The fourth reason why I chose to become vegan is that it's actually a financial decision, funnily enough. You know, it's really, really cheap to eat on a vegan diet. There's another myth that being vegan is expensive. But the reality is, if you go to your grocery store, what are the most expensive items? Right? It's always fish, or beef, or chicken, a little bit less so, or eggs. Right? If you go into a grocery store and you compare the price of lentils and rice versus beef, you're going to be able to eat for a week on lentils and rice when you can only eat for like one meal on beef. Right? I just went to Trader Joe's and for 25 bucks I got what is going to feed me for at least half of this week, which I could never have said when I got meat and I would eat a pound of beef every day. Right? So, number 4, it's cheap. Whenever people ask me about being vegan, which isn't really that often because I don't really tell them, what I always give is these 4 reasons. I say, you know, it's better for my health, it's better for the planet, it's better for the animals, and it's better for my wallet. Why wouldn't I do it? Right? That's it, that's what I want to leave you with, and I guess I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, if you're a vegan, what are your reasons for being vegan? And number 2, if you're not, what is it that holds you back? Again, this is Max from the Vegan Hero Project. Take care, vegan heroes.